Good morning on this day, January 3rd, 2026. Maduro has been taken out of Venezuela by the United States Armed Forces. And this morning, Venezuela appears to be in celebration.
Esta señora que no ha parado de llorar desde que llegó, viene en pijama, como lo pueden ver, todavía ella está. Cuénteme un poco su reacción, cuénteme un poco qué siente en este momento.
Esto no tiene comparación. Gracias, Dios mío.
Cuéntame qué siente.
Mucha emoción, el ambiente es impresionante y el ambiente te cautiva y uno estar en el momento y tener esto como una experiencia única en la historia es increíble.
Okay, before I begin, I just want to talk to you, America, and I hope you have your coffee when I tell you this, but these are great news. All eyes on Venezuela. These are historical news. This is history in the making. I mean, my chest, it feels like it's gonna explode with joy. Like, President Donald Trump and Maria Corina Machado just created an opportunity for us to begin working harder than ever.
Mira cómo está esto aquí, Andy.
No me cabe el pecho de la alegría, en mi casa están contentos.
Teníamos muchos años esperando esta pronta libertad.
All right, you get the point. But the point I'm trying to say to you is that for months in Trinidad and Tobago, the media leading up to this situation was 100% focused on being on the side of President Nicolas Maduro and pushing a fear narrative of the punishment that was supposed to come from Maduro, while all the while ignoring the voices of millions of Venezuelans who are actually in opposition of Maduro. And so you have to understand that Venezuela was a very complicated situation. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they're going to take the oil and look at Iraq and Libya and the United States. And yes, but that was a different situation. See, in those instances, those people never, ever wanted the U.S. intervention, ever. They did not want anything to do with the United States. They were against the United States. But you see, Venezuela was a different animal altogether. Okay? Yes, there are always interests involved. That is geopolitics. But you have to understand the nuance with Venezuela. There were millions of Venezuela who were in struggle and in survival and in strife and who never wanted to leave Venezuela and who are dying to be a part of something greater than themselves, right? So there was an outcry, there was an outpouring for the help of the United States to deal with this for decades, right? And Trump is the only one who came along, and you know the bravado of Trump. Trump is like, yeah, no problem, we'll do it for them. But you know we ought to get something in return because that is the man. And so while Trinidad and Tobago media was busy reporting that there was a lot of opposition against Trump and CARICOM and nobody want America in this region and all this stuff, you all were purposely leaving out the voices of Venezuelans who were welcoming this. Because Venezuela had a civil war going on. They internally were in support of Trump and what Trump was doing. And that was not getting reported at all. You all were not reporting that at all. You all were framing this whole thing about like, oh, he coming for the oil and anti-imperialist rhetoric then. And I understand where it comes from because I grew up reading these books and the revolution and Che Guevara and communism and Karl Marx, and I have it, I understand, but I live in reality. I live in the present moment. I live with what is in front of me, not with what is ideal, right? Because ideals rob you of seeing things as they are. So I kind of just want to point out that I'm curious to see if they're going to report that actually in the media. I'm curious to see how the Trinidad media will react. And all the voices who were acting like if they were the authority on this. They were like, yeah, we know what's going on in Venezuela and we know what's best for Venezuela. And I was like, wow, man. They're ignoring everybody else. They're just focusing on one narrative. They were framing it a certain way. Anyway, that's my take on it. What you all take? Leave a comment below, and you could cuss me, I don't care. You could disagree with me. Just leave a comment when you do it. God bless.